Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to say might offend you, but it could also save your life. Most people are not struggling because life is hard. They're struggling because their own mind has become their prison. And the most dangerous part is this: you don't even realize you're trapped. You wake up every morning, you scroll, you overthink, you doubt yourself, you delay your goals, you kill your motivation, and then you call it normal. But it's not normal. It's silent self-destruction. And here's the brutal truth. Your negative thinking is not just a bad habit. It's a slow poison. It's the reason you feel tired even when you've done nothing. It's the reason you keep losing opportunities without even fighting. It's the reason you keep watching other people win while you stay stuck in the same place, repeating the same excuses, living the same day on repeat. But what if I told you that the voice inside your head is lying to you? What if I told you that the thoughts you trust the most are the thoughts that are ruining you? And what if I told you that by the end of this video, you will learn how to shut that voice down permanently, not with fake positivity, not with motivation, but with a psychological method that rewires your mind like a weapon? Because once you understand how your brain is controlling you, you will never look at yourself the same way again. So don't skip. Don't scroll, don't leave, because the next few minutes might be the difference between living your entire life as a prisoner of your thoughts, or finally becoming the person you were always meant to be. Let's start with the first truth that most people never accept, because it's uncomfortable and because it forces you to take responsibility. The real enemy in your life is not your situation. It's not your childhood. It's not your bank balance. It's not even the people who hurt you. The real enemy is much closer than that. It's the voice inside your head that has been quietly sabotaging you for years. That voice is negative thinking, and it is far more dangerous than you realize because it doesn't attack you from the outside. It attacks you from within. Most people are prepared to fight external problems. They can work harder, they can earn more money, they can improve their skills, they can change their environment. But what they are not prepared for is a mind that turns against itself. Because when your own thoughts become the enemy, you stop trusting yourself. You stop believing in your decisions. You hesitate. You delay. You overthink. And slowly, without noticing, you start living a smaller life than you were meant to live. And here's the scary part. Negative thinking doesn't feel like an enemy. It feels like realism. It feels like wisdom. It feels like caution. It comes disguised as logic. It says things like, be careful, don't get your hopes up, don't take that risk, you might fail, you might embarrass yourself, you're not ready. And because it sounds reasonable, you don't challenge it. You accept it. You start building your life around it. But let me tell you what negative thinking really is. Negative thinking is fear trying to sound intelligent. That's all it is. Fear doesn't want to admit it's fear, so it wears the mask of rationality. It wants you to believe it's protecting you. But protection is not the same as progress. And if your mind is always focused on protection, you will never become powerful. You will become cautious, safe, and controlled. And that might sound fine until you realize one thing. Safe people rarely live great lives. They live predictable lives, comfortable lives, quiet lives. And then one day they wake up, older, frustrated, and full of regret, wondering why they never became what they knew they could become. Negative thinking is not just a bad habit, it is a pattern of self-destruction. It is your brain constantly rehearsing failure, rejection, humiliation, and disappointment before anything even happens. And that is not preparation. That is torture. It's like living in a mental courtroom where you are always on trial, always being judged, always being sentenced, even when no one else is accusing you. You don't even need an enemy outside because your mind has already become one. And if you don't believe me, look at how most people behave. They hesitate before they speak. They second-guess their own decisions. They hold back their talent. They hide their ambition. They don't pursue the person they like. They don't start the business they dream about. They don't apply for the job they deserve. They don't take the opportunity that could change their life. Why? Because in their mind, the outcome is already decided. Their negative thinking has already written the ending, and the ending is always the same: failure, rejection, embarrassment, loss. And what's tragic is that these people aren't weak. They are not lazy. They are not incapable. They are mentally trapped. They have been conditioned to doubt themselves. Somewhere along the way, life taught them that trying is dangerous, that standing out invites criticism, that dreaming big leads to disappointment. So their mind developed a survival strategy. It became negative, not because it hated them, but because it wanted to protect them from pain. But here's the problem. The brain doesn't understand the difference between protecting you and imprisoning you. If your brain can reduce pain by making you avoid action, it will do it. If your brain can reduce anxiety by making you stay in your comfort zone, it will do it. If your brain can protect you from embarrassment by making you stay quiet, it will do it. That's why negative thinking feels so natural. It's not just a thought, it's a defense mechanism. It's the brain choosing safety over growth. And that's why negative thinking is so powerful. It doesn't just change what you feel, it changes what you do. It changes your behavior. It changes your choices. And your choices create your life. Think about it. A person who constantly thinks, I'm not good enough, doesn't take bold opportunities. A person who constantly thinks, people will judge me, doesn't express themselves fully. A person who constantly thinks, it's too late for me, doesn't even start. And that is how negative thinking becomes a slow suicide of potential. Not dramatic, not obvious, but quiet, day by day, decision by decision. Until one day you look back and realize you lived beneath your ability. This is why negative thinking is the real enemy, because it doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your identity. It shapes the way you see yourself. And the moment you start seeing yourself as incapable, you begin to act like it. You stop trying new things. You stop believing you can change. You stop imagining a better future. And when your imagination dies, your ambition dies with it. Now listen carefully. Your mind is not a mirror of reality. Your mind is a generator of reality. It doesn't just reflect what's happening. It interprets what's happening, and the interpretation becomes your truth. That means two people can experience the exact same situation, and one becomes stronger while the other becomes bitter. One becomes focused while the other becomes hopeless. One grows, the other collapses. The difference is not what happened. The difference is the story their mind told them about what happened. Negative thinking is a storyteller that always makes you the victim. It always makes life unfair. It always makes your future hopeless. It always makes other people more capable than you. It always makes you feel behind, late, and inferior. And when you keep listening to that story, you start believing it. And once you believe it, you live it. And the worst part is that negative thinking is self-reinforcing. It creates a loop. You think negatively, so you act smaller. You act smaller, so you get smaller results. You get smaller results, and that becomes proof that your negative thoughts were correct. So you think even more negatively. And the cycle continues. That's why people stay stuck for years. Not because they don't have potential, but because they have a mindset that keeps proving itself right. This is why you must treat negative thinking like an enemy, not like a personality trait. Because it is not who you are, it is what you have practiced. It is what you have repeated. It is what you have trained yourself to believe. And the good news is, anything that is trained can be untrained. Anything that is practiced can be replaced. Anything that is learned can be unlearned. But you have to be honest with yourself. You cannot defeat an enemy you keep excusing. You cannot change a mindset you keep defending. You cannot grow if you keep holding onto thoughts that shrink you. The first step is recognizing that the voice inside your head is not always telling the truth. Sometimes it is just fear speaking, sometimes it is the past speaking, sometimes it is old pain trying to control your future. And when you realize that, something powerful happens. You stop identifying with your thoughts. You stop treating every negative thought like it's a fact. You start seeing it as a suggestion, not a command. And that is where freedom begins. Because the moment you stop believing every negative thought, you regain control. You regain clarity, you regain your power. You start to see that the real battle is not outside you, it is inside you. And the moment you win that battle, the rest of life becomes manageable. So here's what I want you to remember. The world is not holding you back as much as your own mind is. And the most dangerous enemy is the one you listen to every day without questioning. If you want a different life, start by defeating the voice that keeps telling you that you don't deserve one. Now, once you understand that negative thinking is the enemy, the next question becomes even more important. Why does it have so much power over you? Why does a simple thought, something invisible, something that isn't even real in the physical world, have the ability to destroy your confidence, your motivation, and your future? And the answer is going to sound simple, but it is one of the most uncomfortable truths you will ever face. Negative thoughts survive because you obey them. That's it. They are not powerful because they are intelligent. They are not powerful because they are accurate. They are not powerful because they predict the future. They are powerful because you treat them like authority. You treat them like facts. You treat them like warnings that must be followed. And every time you follow a negative thought, you strengthen it, you feed it. You teach your brain that this thought matters. Most people think their problem is that they have negative thoughts. But that's not the real problem. Every human being has negative thoughts. The difference between a strong person and a weak person is not the presence of negativity. The difference is the relationship they have with it. Weak people listen. Strong people observe. Weak people surrender. Strong people challenge. Weak people assume every thought is true. Strong people understand